Hey, and welcome to the Mr. Maple Show. Welcome to today's 10 at 10. This is the 10 at 10 for September 26th of 2024.
I'm Dylan.
And I'm Tim. And we're going to talk about 10 new trees hitting the website at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's another 10 getting listed with these. You can check them out in your weekly email.
We've got some really great plants today. We got some year-round interest for you. We're going to start off today with Acer pseudosubordinatum subspecies Tachycemens.
Yeah, this is a selection that can handle down to negative 30 degrees. It's a species maple that's called the Oolong-do maple. It comes from Oolong-do Island, and the island is between Korea and Japan, but the Siberian winds and the Siberian cold comes and hits it. And so this is actually a zone 4 Japanese maple. It can handle down to negative 30 degrees.
It's a really, really special maple. It's highly sought after in the industry for these big green leaves, that full moon shape. In the fall, you get more yellow-orange with a really, really cool metallic red over the top of it. This is a really phenomenal tree.
Yeah, to give you an idea, Matt and I planted one of these right outside of his house, right on the corner of his porch, because it has phenomenal fall color. It's one of the best fall colors of any maple, yellows, oranges, and reds all at the same time. And it's got that full moon style leaf. One of the unique features people don't talk about, Pseudosubordinatum Tachycemens, subspecies Tachycemens, is its narrow habit. At a young age, it actually starts out fairly narrow, and then it gets slightly wider with time. So you'll see a lot of people thinking they've got a columnar selection of Tachycemens, when really all the species of Tachycemens are typically narrow at an early age.
Yeah, it ends up about 12 to 15 feet over the course of 15 years. It's a centerpiece of any garden.
All right. Guys, next up we've got Green Twinkle, which is a selection by Talon Buchholz, one of his newer selections. On our website for a while, we had it as Green Twinkles. Talon emailed me and said, hey Tim, it's Green Twinkle. So it is correct with Green Twinkle itself as being singular, compact habit, unique leaves, deeply serrated foliage. Pretty cool tree for the garden.
Absolutely, yeah. Stays on the smaller side, 5 foot by 5 foot or so over the course of 10 years, and it maintains more of a ball shape to it, a little bit bushy. Talon, from what I've read, named it after the leaf shape, which kind of resembles the twinkle in your eye.
That's pretty cool. Take this tree out there, pair it with a Twombly's Red Sentinel. You're going to have something that's got this nice ball shape, this distinct serrated foliage, and then you're going to have a red columnar selection that's going to really play off with the texture, with the colors. Just a fun pairing there with Green Twinkles and Twombly's Red Sentinel.
It turns to a brick red color in the fall. It's really beautiful.
Y'all, get you Green Twinkles today.
Next up is one of my favorites, Acer circinatum Pacific Fire.
So what do you like about it?
Well, for one, it's native, which I think is really special. My wife works in conservation, so anytime I can get my hands on a native tree, I have to jump on it. Beyond that, I'm a big fan of the full moon leaf shape, which this has, and I mean, the coral bark that it develops is just something special.
So during the Lewis and Clark expedition, I know you're a history guy, they actually put Lewis and Clark and Persh to go out and explore this new purchase. And when they went out there, that was the first time that Europeans, Western civilization, had ran across Acer circinatum. And they're going through there in Oregon and Washington along the river, and they see this maple growing on the banks. And that's where, this Acer circinatum leaf sort of shows up. And oddly enough, it looks a lot like what they call the oak leaf rank in the military. And it doesn't look like an oak leaf at all.
No.
But it actually looks more like an Acer circinatum leaf, which is a vine maple that people really aren't as familiar with. But cool thing about this selection is it has coral bark to it. And so it gives you that winter interest. It's such an amazing tree. It's likely a hybrid with a circinatum and a coral bark Japanese maple.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool. It's got these lighter green leaves that get a malting red color through the summer. In the fall, it'll develop more into yellows with hints of orange and red on top of it.
Yeah, and then during those winter months, you get this bright orange-red on the bark. And when you see a big Acer circinatum Pacific Fire out in the landscape, it draws you in. Some of the coral bark selections like Sangukaku typically have coral bark on the new growth. The interesting thing is on Acer ursinate Pacific Fire, the older growth often also has some of that red color to it. So you can see a specimen that just has this unique winter interest all the way down to the base.
About 12 feet in 15 years. It's a pretty standard sized tree. And like I said, we're trying to give you guys some trees that offer a year-round interest to you. And this is definitely one of them.
So y'all, next up, we've got seedlings from Acer palmatum Hogyoku. You know, the Makawa seedlings have been real popular. We thought we'd offer you today with some seedlings that are pretty unique and give you that sort of green upright feel.
Absolutely. The mature specimen of Hogyoku that I've seen remind me a little bit of like how a little kid would draw a tree. Like it's got a big trunk and then a ball shape at the top. The Hogyoku in particular is well known for its fall color, especially when it's in that mature state. It basically looks like a giant pumpkin on a stake.
It really does, and the leaf is almost cartoonish as well. It has a slight curl to it, so it just has this extra oomph. And these seedlings have some curls to them, many of them do. These are seedlings though from Hogyoku, so these do show a lot of variation. So they're not Hogyoku, the grafted cultivar, but yet seedlings that may show similar traits, and you may find something that, you know, could be an improved version of Hogyoku.
It's a big tree, about 20 feet over the course of 20 years, which is a little bit bigger than most of the trees that we offer here. But Hogyoku itself is an old cultivar from Japan and is a highly sought after cultivar. With it being a seedling, you never know what you're going to get with it. You might even find your own new cultivar.
Yeah, and the fact that these are seedlings mean these can be turned into bonsai fairly easily. These are trees that you could put out in the landscape and use in a traditional Japanese garden sense because they do have that green color and some dramatic fall color. I mean, that's one thing we're fairly certain about, is that many of these Hogyoku seedlings are going to have a dramatic fall color. Now, they could be similar to that yellow to pumpkin kind of color, but they could be an orange because these are seedlings that do show variability. Guys, next up, we've got Acer palmatum Terayama, which is a very popular tree when it lists on MrMaple.com. It will sell out quickly, so make sure you check out quickly with Terayama today before it sells out, because our website doesn't hold it for you until you complete that checkout process.
This is a really, really interesting tree. It's got really thick and sort of twisting branching and leaves to it. Dark green, a little bit blue hint to them. I am a big fan of Terayama.
Yeah, Terayama, it just has this sort of dense, compact habit. It's almost like if a Shishigashira and a Makawa had a baby, because it's got both of those characteristics: twisting leaves, dense, compact habit, and a slightly larger leaf.
Yeah, 4 to 5 feet by 4 to 5 feet over the course of its maturity. It maintains a small, tight habit. Really, really cool.
Now, this is a tree that can handle sun in many conditions. We're growing it in full sun over at Maplewood Gardens, and it's really been a showstopper for us. It's also a cultivar you don't find frequently in the nursery trade, and it's one that even whenever we were talking with Talon, he was like, yeah, we do, 20 a year, and I'm like, we need to be doing hundreds a year of this, because this is an amazing plant that needs to be out there more, because it's in that Makawa family collection. It's got that similar habit, that dense compact habit, and the dense compact habit on Japanese maples fit in so many people's gardens as container plants. This would be a fun tree to do bonsai with, but also the landscape is always shrinking. People's gardens are always shrinking. People are gardening on a half an acre, and dense dwarf trees that give a unique habit like Terayama fit in so easily.
These are going to go really quick. Make sure you get it today. Next up, we've got Acer palmatum, Nancy's Legacy.
And we got some large 1 gallons. I mean, these are some really nice. They're high grafted. They're grafted about 10 to 12 inches up, but they've got some good growth on them and some really good sizes, lots of good branching. I mean, this is a very colorful tree though.
Yes, very colorful. Greens with some bronzing to it throughout the year. A really, really cool tree.
It's a really colorful maple. It has some really great pink colors in the earlier spring that are just outstanding. And because it's such an outstanding plant, this is actually the reversion of Toyama Nishiki. So it grabs people's attention, like, why is a reversion something that's so popular? Well, Nancy Fears, who had a mail order nursery, she loved this tree. And we do too. We've been growing it here at Mr. Maple for quite a while. And the spring colors are outrageous, where you get some of those just unreal shades of pink, but then you get some really nice greens and bronzes later throughout the year.
I really get why she loves this tree. It is just so beautiful. It's a weeper. It only gets 3 to 4 feet tall, but it gets 5 to 6 feet wide. So it doesn't go too high, but it fills up some space out wide. And with this phenomenal color throughout it, it is really a showstopper.
Yeah, the colors and the graceful habit really lend well to this tree out in the landscape. It contrasts so well out in the garden. My parents have a rental home, and in the front yard, there's a beautiful Nancy's Legacy. And every spring, it's amazing. In the summer, it's great. But the fall color, when you get some of those yellows and oranges in there, that's just brilliant. It really is dramatic. To me, this is an excellent and underrated lace leaf more people need to have in the garden. But these are some amazing sized trees that do fantastic in a container as well. Always remember, with container Japanese maples, make sure you give them plenty of good drainage. What do we got next?
Our first conifer of the day, Pinus strobus mini twists.
Yeah, I love this because it's got that silver blue kind of color and those twisting needles.
Yeah, it is a unique tree in the greenhouse. A lot of the Pinus strobus have these long, soft needles, but man, mini twists, the way that they fold over one another is so cool.
I know this is one of our more popular conifers that we offer here at Mr. Maple, and it's because it's a Pinus strobus. It grows in all across the country in many zones, but it gives a good blue color out there in the landscape, and the twisting needles give a unique texture in the garden as well.
Absolutely. It gets about 5 to 6 feet tall over the course of 10 years. As it starts small, it's a little more ball-shaped, but as it matures, forms into more of a pyramidal-shaped vine.
Yeah, this was found as a chance seedling by Greg Williams, and Greg has introduced so many amazing plants. It's actually the tree that Quercus Greg's variegated is named after as well.
I didn't know that.
And so he's got a lot of cool plants out there, but this is just such a dense, unique dwarf. And I think a lot of conifer enthusiasts really love those dwarf conifers. They fit so well in conifer beds. They get tucked in. They give you some unique evergreen interest that's year-round. And being that it's such a dense, small tree, it fits a lot of small spaces, but it still gives you a unique interest. Next up, we've got Passia AB's Push.
Now this is a really cool conifer. The pink magenta cones that it pushes out in the spring are unlike anything I've ever seen. And I grew up in a town called Conifer.
Yeah, Conifer, Colorado, right?
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Yeah, so this has a unique habit. It's this conifer sort of crawls across the ground. Being it's a Passia ABs, it's good to zone 3. Some people even say zone 2, so extremely cold tolerant. But the dark needles gives this unique conifer on the landscape. But then when you see that purple cone, that pink purple cone across it, it just draws people in. And I think on the Norway spruces, some of the most popular conifers are those ones that have the colorful cones as well.
Yeah, the spring interest on this tree is just next level. The pink conifer cones, these dark old growth needles, and then that tight bunch of bright green needles of new growth, it contrasts itself throughout the whole tree. It's beautiful.
Now, our maples sell out quickly, but sometimes our conifers, like Passia AB's Push, are such a cool conifer that they sell out really quickly as well. So make sure you check out fast, because our website doesn't hold it for you until you complete that checkout process.
This tree is an award winner. The Conifer of the Year in 2008 by the American Conifer Society. It is a must-have if you're a conifer lover and looking for year-round, but especially spring interest in your conifer garden.
You definitely need a Passia AB's Push in your garden today.
Next up on our September 26th, 10 to 10, is Acer palmatum Jerry Schwartz.
Yeah, Jerry Schwartz. This is such a unique tree. And the thing we don't talk about enough about this tree is its shape. It's dense and compact, but it stays fairly narrow in the garden. And that alone makes this tree really usable and something you can put in containers, fit in smaller spaces. I mean, for a tree that's 6 to 8 foot, 3 to 4 foot in width, it fits in so many places.
Yeah, I always have thought of it as a really great apartment patio tree. You can have it in a container. It'll live happy there for its whole lifespan.
Now, one thing I love pairing this thing with is summer gold, because summer gold gives you those yellows, but Jerry Schwartz can give you some unreal shades of pink in the early spring.
You can even see little hints from the summer flush up at the top of these trees, that pink and orange sort of new growth over top of these dark green leaves. It offers so much contrast from top to bottom throughout the whole tree.
By late spring, the pink to bronze color is very distinctive in the landscape, and it's unrecognizable when you see a Jerry Schwartz out there because it goes to this unique shade that's very attractive and pleasing, yet stands out from the crowd of Japanese maples whenever you have a huge collection in your garden.
Yeah, in fall it'll bring you oranges and reds. This is one of my favorite witch's brooms that we offer here at Mr. Maple.
Yeah, and this witch's broom was found as a dwarf mutation by our good friend Billy Schwartz. We have a podcast, The Billy Schwartz Experience. You should go check that out. He's a really interesting guy. Jerry was his mother's name, and that's where it gets the name of Jerry Schwartz. He'd found this dwarf mutation and named it after his mother.
Learn something new every day.
Yep. So guys, we've got our open house coming up October 26th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. here at MrMaple.com. You can find more details for that on our website, MrMaple.com. And it's a fun time. You can come shop in person here. Lots of cool people. I always say that because we got our staff here, and I think our staff's pretty cool. But our Maple Mafia is here too. So it's always a blast to hang out, talk trees, and shop for plenty of the cool Japanese maples that we have filling up all the greenhouses. But wait, there's more. We're going to have a costume contest, a Halloween costume contest, and we're going to give a prize out to one of the best costumes. So you want to come here and be a part of that for sure. It's always a blast, and we love having you here.
This is a special one too. We tell you all about the fall colors all the time, but you can actually come see these trees, all of the different varieties that we offer in their full fall color. It is one of my favorite times to be at the farm all year long. Ba-dum, ba-dum. Bottom, 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 da-dum. Acer Paul made him Pink Panther.
Y'all, this thing is crazy. In the springtime, this has pink colors on a larger leaf. Think of something like an Osaka Zuki, but with that bright pink color in the early spring. It's unreal for a large tree to be able to do this. Many of the trees that have this similar color in that Corallinum group. And this breaks the rules because most of those are more shrub-like. This is a full-size tree with just some spectacular spring color.
It's something else. I don't think I've really seen anything like it as far as a bright, vibrant spring color goes. And then throughout the year, it turns to this more olive green color and eventually into an orange red in the fall. The colors on this tree are, man, breathtaking.
Yeah, and in the summer, you can get some flushes of growth that is that bright pink again. I mean, if you're looking for a colorful tree for the landscape, this is an amazing new selection, and we got it available in 3 gallons. Normally, we offer a lot of these new selections in 1 gallons that keep selling out, We're offering today Pink Panthers in 3 gallons. Take advantage of these awesome sizes we got, y'all. I'm super excited to be offering such a new selection in a 3-gallon like this. This is a groundbreaking new cultivar that you definitely did try out in your garden.
Absolutely. Spring interest, some fall interest to it. Pair it with some of the other trees we've had on the 10 at 10 today. That push with its magenta cones, with this bright pink. We've got some really great trees for you.
Now, I'm almost wondering at some point if this has some oliveranum or other species influence in it. The leaf looks like it's a hybrid of some sort. Maybe how they're able to get some spring interest in an upright tree. Groundbreaking tree though, for sure. We believe it's to be a zone 5 through 9 Japanese maple, but this may be something that can handle more heat because I do see something that looks very oliveranum-like in its leaves as well. Something you'll have to try out and let us know for sure. Y'all, we appreciate y'all jumping in on today's 10 at 10. And remember, these trees list at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That means they're not actually on the website right now, but they will be really soon.
There's also 10 more secret trees that you got to make sure you check out.
Yeah, they're on our weekly email. Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.